Hump Day, Lucky Lefty podcast. As you can tell, my voice is still crazy, Left.
Working through it. Just working through it.
Man, pushing through it. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you do so
Responsibly.
You got to do it responsibly. Today's show, we're going to talk about the defense. What's the defensive ceiling? How many stops per game do they need to get for Notre Dame to win games? And what are we looking at? We're going to talk about spring quarterback battles, Left. Where Notre Dame be one of those spring quarterback battles that leads to a transfer in May. There are about 6 or 7 around the country. Will Notre Dame be part of those? Then on top of that, we'll hear from Thomas Harper, who joined the show, Left. And he gave us an update on what he thought the defense will be moving forward based upon what he saw in the bowl game. So, LL question of the day. Are you a steak and eggs guy? Are you a steak and eggs guy? Left, I can't do steak and eggs for breakfast. I'm sorry. I can't do it. It's just a weird combination to me.
A weird combination.
Yeah, it is. It's just a weird combination to me.
Never heard of that before.
I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people make the choice between what? French toast, pancakes, and waffles. And it's weird that some people don't like pancakes, some people don't like waffles, but man, I'm not a steak and egg guy.
Not a steak and egg guy.
I'm not.
I find that interesting because the steak and egg combination is a nice classic on a brunch type of Sunday. You know, you don't want to have it every day, but on a nice Sunday with some mimosas, some steak and eggs go well, but you got to have it around 11, 11:30, not first thing in the morning.
So it's about the time of the day. You would get it like late night or around that time instead of just like a normal breakfast.
Yeah, if I'm going early morning breakfast, I do the bacon and eggs or something, or maybe do a peanut butter and jelly and some fruit or something. You know, try to stay balanced but light.
If I'm not mistaken, most steak and eggs are like T-bone in restaurants.
Yeah, they're gonna try to go all out with it. The problem is they make the steak bigger than the egg proportion. So you gotta get the hash browns and all the extra the balance. See, you know who has a great balance? Waffle House. Waffle House has a great balance for the all-star breakfast.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Man, I sound crazy. CLB Nation, in conjunction with Irish Breakdown, all of our great content. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. Left, what's your overall look at the Notre Dame defense going into the spring?
I think it'll be a different look for our defense. I think it'll be something to where you're going to be in a position where the secondary is the strength of the defense, and I think it's going to be from the back to the front heavy or strength instead of the front to the back heavy. First year, Marcus Freeman had a really strong front seven. Now he has a very strong back end with a great linebacking core that has a lot of potential and has a high ceiling this year that, you know, I wouldn't say they're going to be at their peak this year, but you're going to see a dynamic linebacking core that's going to make a lot of plays due to the fact that I personally would like to see the D-line make a big impact this year. I'm saying that they're not the same without Isaiah Fowski. However, having that strong back end could definitely boost the overall defense from being a bend but not break. I know we had a huge struggle with stopping the run last year, giving up a bunch of 100 plus run yard games. Averaging that and limiting that is going to come through from tackling in space, which we have great linebacker athleticism this year, and also being able to stop the line at the stop the ball at the line of scrimmage coming from the secondary support. So I do think the run support will be stronger, but coming from the linebacker and back end, and I think we will limit it under 100 yards, but it's going to be a different challenge. But I think it is the reverse this year. I think from the back end to the front is the strength, as opposed to the front to the back was the strength last year.
Let me say something that I think most people might disagree with. JD Bertrand should be an All American this year.
Are you asking me? Or?
No, I'm just saying it. Like, look, I need 100 tackles because there's no excuses. You've been in the
Well,
system for 3 years. Become an impact player. Like, if you're just going to be the smartest player on the field that gets everybody lined up, then we need to have superstars next to you. If you're going to be that dude, either you need to become a dude or you need to be surrounded by dudes.
yeah.
That's huge for me.
Yeah, I think he's going to be surrounded by guys that's going to allow him to make plays. But JD's, I think his best position is just being a captain of the defense out there, getting guys in the right spots, um, forcing the tackle back to those younger players, knowing the play beforehand, helping guys get a line, communicating on the field, things that you need as an ingredients to a great defense. And it's coming from not particularly the best player on the defense, but a player that without him being out there, you wouldn't be able to see the highlight of a guy like Isaiah Foskey, of a guy like a a Prince Collie or a guy like Jalen Sneed or even Nolan Ziegler. I think the development will be accelerated with the experience of a JD Bertrand being in there communicating, maybe not as the best, like I said, player on the defense or the most athletic, but a piece that you're going to need if you want a successful defense, especially playing late in the season.
Something else that I think is going to be prevalent is the opportunity for young defensive backs left to get a shot in the spring. Cam Hart is coming back from his injury. That means the other guys, the young guys, are going to get a lot of reps in the spring. Brian Driscoll put a great stat in a story yesterday. I think the last 5 games that Cam and Benjamin Morrison played together as starters at the end of last year before Cam got hurt, they allowed Notre Dame allowed 158 yards in the passing game, 5.5 yards per attempt, and held opponents to a passer rating of 98.75. So that duo is pretty good. You have to replace Tariq Bracy in the nickel. You get Thomas Harper coming back, or as a transfer, that's a nickel safety. What do you do with Clarence Lewis? Does he remain your third? He's not the type that you can put inside. So is he willing to only play 20 to 25 snaps? Or is he willing to move to safety and strengthen that group back there? So it'll be interesting to see how the reps in the spring benefit the overall squad defensively.
Yeah, it's going to be a great spring to see where guys kind of best fit into the defense. I think it's good having Al Golden coming back to get another year of guys and see how they develop throughout last season and the off season, but also be able to fit guys in the places where the holes need to be filled. I think there's a lot of questions that surround, particularly where the strength of the defense is going to come from, and I think it's going to be a lot closer to being answered. Knowing that the staff is more intact, I think Marcus Freeman feels way more comfortable with this coaching staff defensively, and having a second stab at it, man. I think there's a lot of hungry players, not just in the receiver room, but from just the linebacking core that he's going to be in charge of, and I think it's going to come together. But it's definitely going to be something worth watching and how it develops, especially from certain key positions. I think that nickel position and the safety position are going to be huge for identifying who's going to be the thumper, who's going to be the guy that you need in pass protection, and who's the guy that can kind of be both. So the nickel's going to be great at replacing. We have a lot of great options, and that's going to stem to fitting in that linebacking core. Who can play well with those linebackers that are not only young, but you got some veteran in there, but you really want to see that pop this year.
Young guys like Ryan Barnes and Chance Tucker, they'll get their opportunity to make plays and get in that too deep. They have to take advantage of the spring, man. This is it. You talk about quarterback battles. There are some battles on this roster defensively that could also lead to some transfers in May. So we'll see. Lucky Lemon
If you
podcast.
see, I do think if you see some transfer happen, that's a good thing. I think there's being clear transparency within the program, but also guys acknowledging that the guy is taking the spot and he's made it his own. Especially if it happens in the spring, that's a good tell for the fall. They're going to be ready to play.
Can Benjamin Morrison follow up his freshman year? Are you concerned with the expectations being raised for him?
Fortunately, his expectations is at the right time with the expectations of the secondary and how they have progressed from last year and what we've seen and we're excited about the year before. So not only is Benjamin Morrison under a heavier or higher expectation, but he's good for it. Just like the rest of our secondary, especially with Cam coming back, the unit is going to be experienced and also challenged with 2 of the 3 games, maybe possibly 3 of the 3 games we must win or have a really great chance of being in a position to win, that they're going to throw the football. And the one thing that we know is that the games that we've struggled in has been due to some of the pass protection. But I think that's going to be beefed up this year, and it's going to be a great challenge for a team that who are you going to go at? Are you going to go back at trying the 5th year Cam Hart? Or are you going to say, let's stay away from the young All American? Or are you going to say, let's try to test the inside? So I think there's going to be a lot of uh, coverage that we'll have in this secondary. But Benjamin Morrison is going to be obviously in the spotlight starting the year off, especially against teams like Ohio State and then getting involved in potentially being this is where he earns his draft pick, a draft stock. So it's a huge year for everybody.
You know, I put Chancey Stuckey under the microscope offensively. Al Golden has to be under the microscope. He has to be. The one thing the Notre Dame defense does have is experience for the most part. You lose Isaiah Foskey, you lose Jason Adamiola, Justin Adamiola, but you still had plenty of players coming back that played major snaps last year at every level. Al Golden tries to be super complicated in his defense left, but the more talent you get, the more simple you should be in your calls. At least that's the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, you as a defense or offensive coordinator, you want to challenge your guys to um, increase their football IQ as the season goes on. You believe they can handle it, especially I'm sure Al Golden feels like the Notre Dame man can handle a defense that may be complicated or whatever may have you. But a lot of that comes to experience. I always believe, even in prepare for a game, the more information, the better. And the more the game plan and the more detailed and oriented and the more involved that I enjoy about the game. Obviously, simple can be better, and when you play simple, you play a lot faster. But some of these teams, like that, we're going to face this year, which when the talent is of equal level, you're gonna need some coaching. You're gonna need some different calls. You're gonna need some things where guys have to put their football IQ against the other guy when the talent and athleticism is matched, and be the better man. And I think that's kind of what Tommy was trying to do offensively. Guys are coming along, but defensively, I think having a second year at it with young, talented guys coming in, I think the guys that are there now can lead by example and have a better fit and knowledge of a defense that I think they can get. That double safety blitz is a wild one, but I don't think it'll look like last year either, especially running with the same guys.
I don't care if I ever see another double safety blitz ever in Notre Dame, bro.
You got to have dudes, though.
Man, that double safety blitz is still like a nightmare. And I'm
It's
sure
only
I'm
a
not the only
nightmare
one.
because I think a double safety blitz is smart if they time it well and you have good one-on-one coverage on the outside. Your linebackers got to be wise enough to get under a throw long enough. Like they don't have to be over on top of the throw if they're running vertical.
Mm-hmm.
Just be in the passing lane. Be ready to snatch something coming out quick, but your safeties can't be 10 yards deep on the snap either.
I don't know, Left. I see no need when you have the two defensive backs that you have on the outside. I see no need to take as many risks.
well,
Maybe with your linebackers, but not with your safeties.
Well, think about the game. We was running through holes, missing tackles, not hitting home with the linebackers. He's like, man, we got to get somebody home. And maybe he thought the safeties was the athletic replacement for the linebackers that wasn't getting any pressure. I mean, the D line wasn't getting any pressure either. So he probably thought adding somebody faster to a rush could get CJ off his timing. But man, CJ turned it on in the fourth quarter, and that's exactly why he should be before Will Levis.
Lucky Lefty podcast. I know one thing as a defensive coordinator, you need to identify the people that know how to blitz.
That's right.
Everyone does not know how to blitz.
That's why we got I think that's why we got our safety
No,
transfer.
Ramon Henderson knows how to blitz. Xavier Watts can blitz. Maris Leofow is not good at blitzing.
Maris Leofold needs to redefine his role in the position.
So he just needs to strictly be what? A defensive end?
A run stopper, a weak side wheel run stopper. Don't even worry. Don't even play outside the box. Just make sure you make the tackles when they come to you and rally tackle when they get outside of you. But playing that pass coverage and all that, I don't think that's his strength.
That's interesting. You should say that. You don't think so, huh?
But Maris Leofold is just in a position where he's faced with playing with guys who are, as a group, getting more athletic than he is. So Maris Leofold 4 years ago would be impressive when he first popped on the scene. But now we got guys like Jay Nosberry and Jalen Sneed and Prince Colley and Nolan Ziegler, guys that can fly around that we're more excited about in a sense because they the new puppy in town. So I think Maris has to find his JD Bertrand role and just really focus on how to be an integral part while not being the main attraction as well.
I can see that. So we talked about JD Bertrand needing to step up or he needing to be surrounded. I mean, you're talking about putting Maris at the wheel on the weak side. That's that's not surrounding him with superstars, in my opinion, at the linebacker position.
You don't think he would be surrounded with if you put Well, who would you have at the middle? You have what? Nolan Ziegler or something, or Prince Collie? You have
No,
Prince Collie.
JD Bertrand is started in the middle. We already know that.
So they moving him from nickel to middle.
Nickel.
I thought he was playing a nickel come down run box type of run. Look, I didn't know he was playing the direct middle.
Who, JD Bertrand?
He was playing a direct middle?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I thought he was all because it always seemed like okay, that makes sense in the Purdue game or the Cal game when he got the pass interference, he was playing the middle. I thought he played outside or something. I thought Prince Collie would play in the middle, he would play outside.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of people are concerned about Prince Collie's weight. He's only like 215 right now, I believe.
Oh yeah, never mind.
So down to down, can he hang in there at 215?
No. I wouldn't count on it. You need a nice, what would you say, 240?
Do you? Do I see a lot of linebackers going to the NFL that played at 220, 225 in college?
Really? That's pretty standard. I thought 240 is where you want it, or is that 2000s linebackers?
I mean, yes, you trying to get your inside linebacker to be 240, 250. Dude.
215 it sounds light for it to be the middle though.
I want to say Brian Urlacher played at like 235. He was like 240, 245.
215 just too little for me personally. Manti was what, 225, 230?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can get away with 225, 230 in college on the interior.
Now I was about 235, about 230. Tavon was about 230, 235. But I mean, Prince Collie adds a different dynamic also with his speed and power. I think having him and Jalen Sneed out there is dynamic for the run game.
Yeah.
I think that would be a limiting factor in getting under 100 yards averaging to your backup running back that seem to be doing work on us every game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then got a Xavier Watts coming down or a Ramon Henderson coming down.
And Mike Huff, I see your comment. We're talking about transition, college. Brian Urlacher wasn't 260 in college. He was playing safety at like 220, 225. And when he got to the Bears, he got up to about 240, 235, 240.
That's what
later in his career, he might have got up to about 250, 260. But when he transitioned to the NFL, Brian Urlacher was still about 240 at his heaviest. Playing middle linebacker. And the game was different back then. It wasn't today's NFL back then. It was still heavy run.
Man, you could use a 240 linebacker about now. If Prince Collie was 240, he'd be a monster.
I just feel like 240 right now is too much, dude. Especially if you're playing inside.
Who is he? What does he have to worry about if he's playing the middle?
Let me check this.
Everything should be forced back inside anyway. Outside run should be forced back inside. He just coming downhill, cleaning stuff up, holding it down in the middle when they try to spread us out. Especially if we got light in the pants D linemen.
So let me check this.
Because like Prince Collie isn't like an Isaiah Simmons. You know what I mean?
Like Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd, his last year at Utah was 232.
And Devin Lloyd's a monster.
That's what I'm saying. But he was 232 as a senior.
Yeah, okay. That's what Prince Collins is a redshirt junior right now.
Yeah.
He should be up there in that. If
He
you're
needs to.
215 as a redshirt junior, you're tripping.
Yeah.
All that good old food up at training table, man. I know they own you about the weight. All them
Yeah.
peanut butter, chocolate shakes
Yeah.
after. Man, come on, man.
Yeah.
I tell you, I was 185 my first spring semester. Coming in. By the end of spring, going into fall camp, I was like 205. Then the next year I was 215. Then next year I was 225. I was big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Redshirt junior year, I was maxed out about 235, 230. So come on, I can't be bigger than Prince Collie.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you that you might be in that position, bro.
See, that's why I know I was nice back then.
Usu was at 215 as a senior, bro.
But that's okay because he playing in space and he was just a freak athlete, you know.
So I think Nolan Ziegler right now is at like 230. So he should be ready to play.
And Nolan Ziegler's like 6'3".
Right.
He a monster.
Yeah.
Nolan Ziegler ready. He was ready when I saw him in spring ball last year. Oh my goodness, he's like lanky. So I know he getting sideline to sideline for sure.
And I'm trying to see here. JD Bertrand is listed at 228.
See, that's why I said you may not be the best on the defense, but that's an integral nice size and weight that you should have on your defense at some position. He just can't be the reason why we lose games. If he's not the reason why we lose, I think he'll have a great season. The team's not out there going empty, trying to line him up against a running back out wide like they did last year and just throw go routes inside, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, that is interesting though. That'll be very interesting.
I know Ohio State linebackers in that 230 range. All them suckers are big. I remember playing Northwestern when they had Trevor Siemian. I thought their linebackers were as big as their D linemen. They were so big. Like they even had like a 225 safety or a 220 safety at the time. Like, oh my gosh. Northwestern was huge. I'm like, oh, they had to be. They were slow, but I mean, man, they were some monsters.
So the linebacking core, most might say, really need to be the next level group to step up besides the defensive backs. You talked about it, being able to hold teams under 100 yards. Heck, I would like it if they just hold the backup running back down this season. If they could just do that in comparison to what they did last year. But just moving forward, I think the sophomore class is about to step forward. You saw Jalen Sneed get his run in the bowl game. Nolan Ziegler got run at the end of the year. Question for Nolan Ziegler, according to most inside the building, is about him getting up to weight, getting his weight up. So I think he's up to about 230 now. Time to see some of these young guys roll left.
Yeah, I mean, the game is changing. I guess. I liked it when guys were heavier. I thought the game was a lot more authentic.
Left still wants linebackers walking around at 6'3", 265.
Yeah. Look at Georgia's football team. Everybody on that team is at least 6'3", 265. Like,
Yeah, dude, but N'Kobe Dean was like 220.
okay, but N'Kobe Dean, okay, the difference with N'Kobe Dean, he was a 6-year, the man knew every part of the game, he had them special qualities, which a JD Bertrand should be.
Look, I just think the linebacker position today is totally different. I don't need my linebacker to be 240. I'll take Devin Lloyd at 230 all day, every day.
See, that's what Alabama does. Alabama would take a Logan Diggs. Logan Diggs was about 220, 230, turn him into a linebacker and be a monster. RGS may be a linebacker. He'd be a monster too. RGS may about 240. Something crazy. He about 245, look like.
Aldrich might get up to about 250 before it's all said and done.
Easily.
Man, Lucky Lefty podcast. Thomas Harper, he joined us right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast, and he talked about the defense and how they looked and what he expected and what he saw in that bowl game.
I think South Carolina early on, they just kind of had, they had a lot of stuff scripted. They had the little tight end leaking out. Stuff like that, like little small eye violation stuff. Nothing really too serious about them just eating at the defense or exposing the defense, more so just eye violations, little stuff like that. So, I liked what I seen, honestly. I feel like it's a lot of pieces that y'all already have that just make y'all a threat already. And that was super attractive to me as well. Just being on a winning team and not going somewhere where they don't really have a culture set in stone yet. Like, y'all already have a culture. Y'all already have a good team. And I think y'all would agree just as much as I would agree that, it's a lot of people coming back and I feel like we can make a postseason run for sure. We just got to do what we got to do. But that was really attractive to me as well.
See, we like guys that show appreciation. You know what I mean? He know that shit just led with, I know we're going to be in the playoffs, but I feel like I can make this team win. Just like Bobby Portis said in his interview with JJ Redick, he said he called Giannis and said, "Hey, Giannis, I know you don't know me. I don't know you, but I can help you win a championship." And 6 months later, they won the championship. We need a Bobby Portis. Where's our Bobby Portis at? He said, "Let me get out of these stinking Bulls, these terrible Bulls, and let me go to Milwaukee."
You just had to throw that in there, huh?
The Bulls ain't cutting it. I'm fighting with the team. They don't want to win. Shaun ain't coming to the games.
You're darn right about that. You're darn right about that.
You got to go to a Bulls game, Shaun.
Man. We'll see, man. They can get back in the building in the next 2 years. It'll be a miracle.
They got to treat you like Spike Lee, man. Put you right on courtside. Give you the fresh Bulls leather jacket. You know what I'm saying? Trying to win you back, man.
Oh, man. Lucky Lefty podcast. Now, he also joined us, and he said something very interesting about the offense left that you might want to dive in on. This is his thoughts on how they approach Notre Dame's offense in the Fiesta Bowl the year prior when he was on Oklahoma State squad.
Going into the game, we knew as far as defensively wise, we knew that y'all had a good tight end that one of the best in the nation. That's what our coach said, and I mean that's how he played. So we was really worried about trying to take the ball out of his hands and forcing it to stopping the run and just forcing it to be a passing game kind of. So I mean that's kind of
So that's the question. What was the conversation about the quarterback of our team during that time? Were y'all worried and thinking, man, we let him go crazy, it's gonna be tough for us?
Of course. Like I said, y'all, I feel like y'all had some really good pieces that and some really good players where if you let them get high or let them get going, then I mean it's gonna be a long game. So we definitely had. I don't think y'all running back played.
Right.
We thought he was gonna be playing, so he didn't play. So we didn't really know too much about the other running back. I mean, we knew he was good, but we didn't think he was gonna be what y'all running back one was. So we really just was. I mean, the game plan was really just stop the run and don't let the tight end get hot. That's really what the game plan was. And I mean, y'all got out on this early, so I mean, we at halftime we thinking. I mean, we're not giving up, but we like. I mean, we just don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we ended up getting the job done. So
Yeah.
Anytime somebody talk about a team and start off saying, man, they tight end, man, don't let him get hot, I feel pretty good going into that game. Like, anytime if a team told me, yeah, man, that tight end, that's something serious, you got to watch out. That's it. The passing game was so ineffective at the time, he couldn't even name a player over there. He was just like, yeah, I mean, if you leave them open long enough, they can do something, but we were more concerned about the tight end in the run game. And then the running back didn't play, so we didn't even know what he was about. So these are all the guys that Gerard Parker has this year. And I do think that it's good that the receiver room has so much mystery and had not a lot of history. Their history is a mystery. However, they do have a lot of potential that I think can be highlighted. And we do have a guy that can pass now. Something that teams have to at least consider. Before, it sounds like teams didn't even consider the pass game. They was just like, yeah, they can run that ball, but if we let the tight end get hot, it's over. The tight end is attached to the line. So that means that outside them hashes, teams are not concerned. Teams don't care what you're doing outside them hashes. They say as long as we can contain the tight end, we're straight. Now, Marcus Freeman has built up a lot of flyer miles, going to a lot of skill positions outside the tight end. He didn't build up all them flyer miles to have teams say, don't let the tight end get hot. The pass game, yeah, if you leave them open all day, maybe they can do something. I think it's time that we start making it count. And I think a lot of the reason that we got Sam Hartman is because of that, because of the mystery in Tyler Buckner's history. We don't know if he can consistently throw the rock or not. He's shown flashes, but getting a certified guy like Sam Hartman, I think will add a perspective that we haven't had in the last few years.
You know, Left, give me, as we get ready to transition, give me the ceiling for where Notre Dame can rank defensively. You're talking about a top 25 defense?
If we're winning the championship, we gotta be a top 10. If we're going 1-3 in these 3 games that we really need to win, then we'll be bottom 25. I think we have a range from 25 to about 10. And if we go undefeated for whatever reason into the playoffs, we'll be around 9 or 8. I just don't think we have the D line to be in the top 5. Just preseason, Until if somebody pop on the scene, okay, that'll make us top 10, but I don't think we got the top 10 D line going into the year that would make us a top 5 defense.
So they were 22nd against the pass nationally last year, 34th in rushing yards per game, and then 41st in yards per rush. That's why I asked top 25. I really should have asked top 20 because top 20 would be taking a step forward, in my opinion.
I think,
like you said, that 22nd against the pass has to be bolstered by that defensive line stepping up.
Yeah.
That's a good point you made, love. Has to be bolstered. Has to be bolstered.
And it's like, Al Washington? I don't mean, how do you activate the room if you Al Washington? You got a bunch of guys, a bunch of pack dogs, but no pack leader. A bunch of guys that are all pretty solid, but who's the Isaiah Foskey? I wouldn't give it to Jordan Botelho right off bat because I just heard about it not too long ago. Wasn't he like in Hawaii during last year or something like that? Like he wasn't even at school for part-time or something.
Yeah. Yep. Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CFB Nation in conjunction with Irish Breakdown. All of our great content. Leave 5 stars. Leave your comments. It's the Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. Hey, Left. Notre Dame is looking for a new football coach, right? I mean, basketball coach to replace Mike Bray. Do you think Notre Dame can ever become dual powerhouses in football and basketball?
Girls basketball, yeah.
No, I'm talking about men's basketball.
It would take, just like for football, the divine inspiration of the team that they get there to play beyond what they were recruited as. So mixed with a guy that's on the fringe of being a superstar. I think Notre Dame has a lot of guys, basketball has a lot of fringe superstars. Guys that are like, man, he's really good on that team supported by a bunch of guys that are good college basketball players. But to get a roster full of hoopers, it's too much involved in the basketball circuit that Notre Dame is too good steward for. It is worse than football. So
I just happened to be watching the pregame last night to the first 4, and Jay Wright was doing the studio show along with Candace Parker. Jay Wright, dapper as ever. My man had on his Villanova championship ring, bro. And when I tell you that ring was sparkling in the camera, and I'm like, yo, somebody needs to cut this man a check. I was talking to Jack Swarbrick, but I made it very general.
But you see, the thing is, Villanova is no different than us as a basketball program. We should be able to get a coach like Jay Wright at a place like Notre Dame, because what's the difference between us and Villanova? We got a better football program. We got a football program.
Well, Villanova is like what, D2 in football? I think they're D2, if I'm not mistaken.
D1 AA.
D1 AA.
So, I mean, for us, we should be able to get a Jay Wright.
Mm.
Jay Wright should be knocking on our door. You know, maybe it is a money thing with Notre Dame. I mean, Brian Kelly left for $100 million. Do you think Notre Dame will ever pay a head coach $100 million?
Man, look, there's so much wrapped up in this, in my opinion. So much wrapped up in this basketball decision, along with the TV and apparel deals that are on the fringes, with decisions ready to be made. Basketball, your basketball coach has to be connected to your apparel deal, bro. That's just the way basketball goes. Kids are linked to shoe companies from the age of 12. College coaches are linked to shoe companies all over the country. So this apparel deal, if I'm a coach interviewing for the position at Notre Dame, I'm asking Jack Swarbrick what's up with the apparel deal. Absolutely.
Can we get Nike? If we can get Nike, I think we'll be fine.
You think that's the only way it can happen? If Nike's the apparel deal?
Why can't we recruit like the school down the street, Loyola? That's the model we should go with. We should just.
You talking about Loyola Chicago?
Yeah. That strategy seems to be what we want to do, but are fronting on.
Well, see, Loyola just gets the best kids from Chicago.
Oh,
I mean, that's.
Let's go out of state on there, huh? No,
I mean, they get a few guys from out of state, but
just a few.
Dude, the teams that went, the Loyola teams that went to the Final Four and deep into the tournament, were pretty much Chicago kids that had played for 2-3 years. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. So you're saying Notre Dame should get talent from Chicago, huh?
I mean, I think that's what.
No kidding. No kidding. Shout out to JJ Starlin, who I think JJ Starlin transferred to Syracuse yesterday. Shout out to him. But wow, Notre Dame should get basketball talent from Chicago. No kidding.
No kidding. They don't have a Tommy Reese down there, huh? Getting all the Chicago talent, huh?
I mean, LL question of the day. Should Notre Dame go after a veteran, proven coach or a young, up-and-coming coach? Because that's really the question. If you're going after a veteran coach, that apparel deal means a lot.
Well, right now, we're a young, trending chocolate hiring team right now, administration. So maybe going young is the way of getting around doing NIL deals and big apparel things with coaches because they believe youth, like Marcus Freeman, I think his youth attracts a lot of the recruits as well.
This is funny. I just want to add something because we're going to keep talking. I got a cool kid who's an Ohio State fan is in the chat.
Oh, gosh.
We allow everything.
Runners.
We allow everything. But I need to ask him a question. Hey, cool kid, name the last big game that Ryan Day won.
Can't name it.
And name the last time he wasn't out-coached in a big game. I'll be interested in knowing it.
Are you calling Utah a big win?
Man, stop.
That's all I can think about. That's the only thing I can think about.
And he got out-coached in that game. They just lost players.
See? Born on third base, man.
Robert Tidall says Shaka Smart is the perfect choice. Shaka Smart's not leaving Marquette, man. Look, man. Look. I know we think Notre Dame is a special place. Shaka Smart is not. He's from Milwaukee. He left Texas to go home for a reason.
Yeah.
He's not leaving Marquette for Notre Dame. That's not happening.
Not happening?
No. See, this is how you know. Look, I asked an honest question. And when people don't have an honest answer, then they try to go to your coach. We're not talking about Marcus Freeman. In big games, give me an example of Ryan Day out coaching the opposing coach. That's all I asked. That's all I asked for. That's all I asked for. It's a legitimate question. So, man, quarterback derbies in the spring left. Let's name some.
Quarterback derbies in the spring.
I'm interested in this one down in Ole Miss. That's going to be crazy, bro.
Jackson Dart. Who else they got?
Spencer Sanders.
Yeah.
And Walker Howard, who left LSU, ended up committing over at Ole Miss. That was an interesting choice by Spencer Sanders, in my opinion. But hey, somebody out of that group has to transfer in May, in my opinion.
Walker Howard has the most time.
I think Spencer Sanders wins the quarterback battle. I do. Jackson Dart is the incumbent. I mean, we'll see. Georgia with Carson Beck and Brock Vandegrift and Gunnar Stockton.
I like Brock Vandegrift. That's
okay.
My choice.
All right.
I know Vandegrift and Carson Beck. But I like Vandegrift. For what I think Georgia has to transition to in having a more dynamic quarterback, because the Stetson Bennett show is over. Carson Beck is not Stetson Bennett. Carson Beck actually was a 5-star with expectations that he's not obviously at that point. So he's not the same route as the Stetson Bennett come out of nowhere. So you got to play, all right, back to the 5-star Alabama type games where you playing them dudes. And Brock Vandegrift, in my opinion, is a dude I think could take advantage of a transition of what they're going through. I mean, they lost their best receiver this year. So it'll be a good restart with a guy like Brock.
Al McCord and Devin Brown. You pretty much think Devin Brown needs to pack his bags?
Devin Brown, where at?
At Ohio State.
Ohio State, they're going to be interesting. Who are they going to roll out and make a play? I mean, I don't think Kyle McCord is in the CJ Stroud, Justin Field, Dwayne era. But does Ohio State have enough it factor from that position to get it done this year? We'll see. You know, usually you're pretty hype about the incumbent before the season even gets here. They're not buzzing that they were about CJ Stroud filling in after Justin Fields. So, I think this is giving us the advantage of us having a better quarterback room going into that game. And I think that's something that is going to impact the game similarly how it impacted the game last year when they had a better quarterback room than we did.
Yeah. 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 I bet you to say going into that game, you would probably value Sam Hartman over whomever the starter is for them.
Whomever.
Let's see. Alabama. Tommy Reese has a quarterback battle on his hands. Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson, he ain't giving. Come on. I had an Alabama journalist call me the other day about that. I said,
So
"Come
wait a minute. That's basically Brandon Wimbush versus Ian Book.
on." Basically, it's like Kevin Steverson versus Ian Book. Like he has no chance.
So Jalen Milroe would probably look up, unless he changes positions, he'll be
But he
transferred.
already has some clips of him catching the ball, so I'm like, it's the beginning of the end.
Nebraska, your boy Jeff Sims versus Casey Thompson.
I'm gonna vote for Jeff Sims just because I wanted him at Notre Dame at a point. So
North Carolina State, Brennan Armstrong versus MJ Morris and Ben Finley.
wait, say it one more time.
Brennan Armstrong versus MJ Morris, who played for them at the end of last year, and Ben Finley.
Probably Ben Finley.
Yo, do you think there's anyone in the quarterback room for Notre Dame that might think about transferring?
And Jelly. And maybe Tyler Buckner, depending on if he wants to play a sidecar quarterback all year instead of getting on that motorcycle.
I don't know, Left. I think it might be more beneficial for Tyler Buckner to stick around.
I mean, he can. It's just, the impatience that a guy in a position of Notre Dame has where you're like, man, this side role position of quarterback is not what I felt like I got a scholarship for. And this is going on his second year doing it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you can't depend on your health when you do get the chance. So it feels like a Phil Jacob. Like Phil Jacovic said, I'm out. I'm not even going. I know I'm getting hurt. I know y'all in and out on this position thing. I'm not even going to take a chance on it. Tyler just happened to stay. But now it's like, okay, do I wait a whole nother year?
I mean, Phil was allowed to hang out with Zay Flowers, man, at Boston College.
That matters a lot. That matters a lot. So Tyler Buckner is staying, and it's like, okay, do I stay again after they told me before the year was over, after I had a great game, that they're going to bring another guy in? What do they think of me then? It's the second time y'all done did this now. Coming in, y'all wasn't hype on me. Y'all done got Jack home. The year after, I think I'm ready. Y'all telling me, it's my chance. I'm doing my thing. I get hurt. Come back before the year's over. Y'all say y'all bringing another guy. So what y'all think about me? I know y'all think I can't stay healthy, but do y'all think I'm good enough? And then y'all bringing another guy in to play another side role. I'm a redshirt junior. Maybe with the COVID year that he has, I'm pretty sure. So technically we have, 3 years left? So he like, man, maybe I graduate, finish this year out, and then I can transfer and have 2 years left somewhere else, maybe back home, San Jose State or something. Or I could just stay here and try to play those 2 years. So who knows? Or are they gonna try to throw Kenny Minchie in my face? Are they gonna try to sneak Steve Angeli in there at some point? So I think it's real interesting.
Some interesting decisions to be made across the nation in the quarterback room, and heck, maybe some that need to be made in the Notre Dame quarterback room moving forward. Lucky Lefty podcast, Left. I'm happy to see Matt Eberflus down in Athens today. You know, we had the side conversation with Jalen Carter. We told him, don't work out, gain weight, don't work out at the pro day. That means you're going to drop to us at 9. It's a beautiful plan being put together by the Bears. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it, Left. I love it. I love it.
I mean,
Like you said, the NFL is putting together this takeover for the Bears to get back to the top. It's beautiful.
you think you guys gonna get Zeke
Z cool.
Elliott?
For what?
Ohio State connection.
For what?
Justin Field gonna say, "Bring my boy in." He just got cut.
Yo, that's an interesting conversation. What do you think the roster makeup of the last 3 Super Bowl champs consist of as far as schools?
Need somebody from Notre Dame blocking for you. You need somebody from Florida because last 2 years, both of my Florida teammates have won Super Bowls. One on the Chiefs, one on the Rams. One of them was my roommate. One of them was my young receiver. Shout out Kadarius Toney, balling. You need one from Dayton. Joe Tooney, blocking for Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, couple of them. Blocking for Tom Brady, couple of them. No big deal. So you need a Dayton guy, a guy from Florida. And if Ian won, if the Eagles won, then I say from Notre Dame because Ian was on that team too.
So if you look at the roster makeup for the Kansas City Chiefs that have won 2, look, man, and I agree with you, Coach Vic. Yeah, we good on Zeke.
What? Y'all gonna get him for a steal?
We good on Zeke.
How y'all get on Zeke when y'all not good at all?
I think Kansas City had 2 people on their roster from Georgia, and neither one of them played. McCole Hardman was hurt. The other guy was like a practice squad guy. Most of their roster were Illinois, Oregon, BYU, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Missouri, Cincinnati, Georgia Tech, Army, South Dakota. They had 1 player from Michigan, 1 player from Mississippi, Valdosta State, Central Florida, LSU, 1 player, Duke. Kentucky, Marshall, Mississippi State.
Florida, what the heck?
They got 2 players from Florida.
That's right.
Rutgers. It just goes to show you, man. You put together a Super Bowl champion. Shoot. Most people think you have to go to these schools and get all these players from Georgia and Alabama. No, it's a lot of talent. Like you said, you get a Dayton guy. I'll show you some love with the Dayton guy, with Joe Tooney.
That's right.
But at this point, Ryan Poles has signed 5 starters in free agency. He's been responsible with the money. And we'll see who he picks up in the draft. I see your Bengals are losing a lot on defense, though. I see that.
They trying to get Joe Burrow to leave. So
I see that.
They're like, look, Joe, we made it hard on you, on yourself. You're gonna ask for too much money, so now we got to take away everything. So you leave. Who they?
It's Pat's world. It's okay. My boy works for ESPN New York. My boy Ty Butler. And he's all geeked about, Aaron Rodgers and all of this. And I'm laughing. And I said, man, y'all doing all of this to lose the 15? He was like, what are you saying? We shouldn't try? I said, I didn't say don't try. I'm just letting you know what's coming. Y'all doing all of this to lose the 15 in January. I said, because the one thing I know for sure, come January, Aaron Rodgers disappears. I know that for sure. That's a given. That's a given.
He gonna have Donald Driver, Mercedes Lewis, Jordy Nelson out there.
Oh, he getting his whole squad back together up there, dude.
He already got Randall Cobb in the works.
Now, the Alan Lazard move does 2 things, though, because Alan Lazard was headed to the Chiefs, according to reports. So by getting Lazard, he gets his guy, but he keeps Alan Lazard from the Chiefs, which doesn't matter.
I had Alan Lazard first in Jacksonville rookie minicamp, so shout out Alan Lazard.
Here we go.
I threw him a couple passes, Shout out to him. He started with Jacksonville, though, but good to see he's Aaron Rodgers' guy. But I don't know if you should set your career based on what Aaron Rodgers does. Aaron Rodgers is on his way out.
He's definitely on his way out. And welcome to the Jordan Love era up there in Green Bay.
Shout out Jordan Love. That's my dog.
Shout out Jordan Love. I hope he does well. But this is the difference between Aaron Rodgers. I'm not coming unless y'all get me A, B, and C. Hey, Pat, we're about to trade Tyreek Hill and go get Juju Smith-Schuster. Is that cool with you? Let's roll. That's the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, dog.
No. He has Andy Reid, and Aaron Rodgers has Robert Saleh.
Daniel Hackett.
All right. So come on.
Patrick Mahomes also has himself. You can talk about Andy Reid all you want to. Andy Reid didn't win Super Bowls until who got there as a quarterback.
Hold on now.
Did Andy Reid win a Super Bowl with Alex Smith?
Hold on now.
Did he win a Super Bowl with Alex Smith?
Yeah, Donovan McNabb, and they should have won. They got
No. Did he win? I don't want to hear about he should have. Did he win?
So was Andy Reid not relevant until Patrick Mahomes? Come on.
Did he win with the quarterbacks he had? Answer the question.
Andy Reid won his championships when
Andy Reid had all-time Hall of Fame defenses in Philly. All time. Answer the question.
when
Does
he got
he have?
Joe Tooney from Dayton,
Mhm.
Ohio, blocking for the quarterback.
I gave you that. I gave you that. Answer the question. Does he have any championships with Alex Smith or Donovan McNabb?
He should.
You keep saying he should. Does he?
No, he doesn't.
Okay. You want to go look at Travis Kelce stats with Alex Smith?
See, I'm gonna hit you with the Dame Dash. Everything's about this ring culture with you guys. What about the guys that put in the work day in and day out?
Man, stop being sensitive. Ring culture has been there since the beginning of sports. Y'all need to stop. Ring culture was there with Newt Rockney. Y'all need to stop.
This ring
Stop
culture,
being
that's
sensitive.
where in these days is just
Y'all, I've never seen a culture. I'm as much as y'all juggle Tom Brady's balls. I've never seen a culture resist the takeover that's happening. Everybody wants to give excuse to why Patrick Mahomes is great instead of just saying Patrick Mahomes is great.
Here we go.
But no, you don't want to dissect the first 3 championships of Tom Brady's career, right? You just give him those, right? Those are his Super Bowls, right?
It's so many.
Exactly. So you don't. There is no dissecting, but everybody wants to super dissect Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. This dude just who were the starting wide receivers in the Super Bowl left? Who were the starting Super Bowls for Kansas City? Who was the starting receivers?
Kadarius Toney. That's the only one that mattered.
Come on, dog.
Kadarius Toney, University of Florida, my dog.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Mahomes is great. We understand that.
You know what? The Super Bowl, the most gratifying win to me wasn't even the Super Bowl. As long as Joe Burrow took that L, I'm straight.
Oh, now comes the haters. Now comes the haters.
I hate.
Oh my goodness.
Came in there running your mouth.
The Bears, you wouldn't say that.
Came in there running your mouth.
Would you trade for the Bears? Would the Bears trade for the Bengals? Justin Fields for Joe Burrow?
Straight up?
Straight up.
What you mean? We would trade straight up.
So what are we talking about? Joe Burrow's great.
And I would have told Joe Burrow to shut his mouth leading up to the game.
At the gas station?
At the gas station.
You would have been right there.
I'd have been right there at the gas station. Like, look, Joe, I love your game. But all this trash talking,
this Burrowhead thing,
this Burrowhead stuff, you got to stop. You got to stop.
That's hilarious.
Yo, it's crazy, man. Everybody wants all these youngsters. Man, this person is next. Josh Allen's going to be the next dude. Joe Burrow's going to be the next dude. It's only one dude right now. That's it.
It's only one dude right now.
It's only one dude. And then there's everybody else.
Well, Lamar's in there. They just got to – I don't know if they blackballing him or just – I don't know how to even explain it, man. It's kind of
look.
There's too many metrics to make it make sense.
They offering this dude money and then giving him incentives to get his guaranteed money.
It's a clown show. Like, why? Like, we know why.
Yeah.
But I think it's just
matter of fact, wait. Just save it. Save it. Here you go. Just save it.
Petticoat. Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, Petty Story of the Day brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. Put the Baltimore Ravens on the petty train. Go ahead, Left.
It's just crazy to see the openness of how they are just betting the house against somebody who's done a great service and has earned what they rightfully deserve. I think just the process of could be trying to reset the quarterback market, being that he's being the example of it, I think it's a terrible optic for race relations when it comes to the quarterback position. And why didn't you do this with Josh Allen? It should have been reset with Josh because he's been stealing money for the longest. But he's in a tough position. He's not helping himself necessarily with having what some would say the proper representation, but there's plenty of guys in the league that get their deals done with no agent. So there's a bunch of metrics that make it even crazier to think about how he's in this position. You would think the Ravens would be a solid organization that would do the right thing. Unfortunately, some things happen to rule over some other things in terms of having the do right type of attitude when it comes to paying your guys. So yeah, there's an argument that has a lot of different complex ways that you can go about it that all have valid points. I mean, I'm sure you can make a ton of points that add perspective to how frustrating this could be for Lamar, but also for people that support Lamar, like the Ravens and colleagues around the league, that you know what it is as the elephant in the room, but you didn't think it would be this blatant for a player that if anybody deserved the bag, Lamar would. And he has a great story behind him to where they can't just say he came from a drug-ridden neighborhood and, was homeless for 20 years. And then, his college coach gave him an offer because he saw him at the gas station or something, So he he definitely deserves his money. And, the way it's looking, he probably not going to get the 250 guarantee like he should, but they're going to throw the whole, they're trying to reset the market thing. At least Shaun got to crack the code for a little bit. If you look at his guarantee money compared to the next highest, it's kind of crazy. So from a business perspective, I can all the way understand. And that's just what business is like. It ain't high school football anymore.
I had Deshaun took a year off, 2 years off, and came back.
Ridiculously high, like rightfully so. He got his money. Don't good job to his agent. But it was so much more than the next guy that as a business, the NFL not gonna have that, man. So you can understand if you think it from that aspect, but from all the emotional stuff and obvious stuff you want to add to it, that plays a factor. But the biggest thing is, from a business standpoint, they're like, we didn't even pay Pat that much, considerably, So we'll see.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna be on a lot of liquids today, Left.
Yeah, healthy, man. Get that hot tea going.
Man, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, but most of all, make sure that you spend it different.